Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Legion Alpha video. Mysterious whispers offer you untold power for your services. That is roughly the message that I got when I logged into the game, and I also noticed that I had a new action bar down there. This is, indeed, a part of the Legion pre-expansion launch event. Now, the main part of that launch event is, of course, the Broken Shore, content-wise very similar to Tanan Jungle, in that it kicks off the narrative of the expansion, but this also happens. So, I've got a buff there with 9 stacks up at the top right. I'll flip the screen over to 21 by 9 so you can see that. Sorry for your recording errors on my part, but that buff means that I take 90% more damage and deal 90% less damage. That's a bit of a pity, but I do have some pretty cool buttons here. Button number 1 is called Turn Ally. This will make me turn another player over to the Burning Legion affiliation. This means they can be attacked by friendly players, i.e. Alliance players or Horde players, whatever, and they're also attacked by the likes of the City Guards. On my 2, I've got a button which, if I throw that at NPCs, it will cause the NPCs to fight each other. 3 is a pretty cool ability that you'll see later on, where you take on the disguise of your target. Later on, I actually get to run around as a target dummy, which was pretty cool. We then have 4, which will just make you invisible, and 5 turns you into a big Dreadlord, which is pretty much unkillable. Now, as you notice, I'm running up to players here and I'm hitting 1. What does that actually do? So, whenever I hit 1, it switches their faction affiliation over to Burning Legion, meaning that other players can attack them. This leads to some absolutely awesome gameplay that you're going to see here. I decided to turn people over to the Burning Legion near the PvP area, or not PvP area, the training dummies in Stormwind, because I thought, maybe some interesting shenanigans could go on. Now, whenever I use this, whenever I use my 1 ability, Turn Ally, I actually get a 15-second debuff, which exposes me as a Burning Legion person and allows other players to attack and kill me. So what I did is, I flew up to this building, and I jump over the ridgeline of the building, turn someone over to the Burning Legion, and then jump all the way back. Now, every time that you successfully turn an ally, you get one of your stacks of the Fragile Mind buff, which is the one that makes you do less damage and take more damage. 1 stack of that is removed. And whenever you remove all of your stacks, i.e. whenever you turn 9 people over to the Burning Legion faction affiliation, then you get to turn into a big Dreadlord. Now, whenever you turn your ally over to the Burning Legion faction affiliation, all it means is they can attack other players can attack them. It's a bit of fun. For them, it only lasts 15 seconds, though. So it's more just you going in, fooling around with people, messing them up, getting somebody ganked by other players, killed by the City Guards. Basically, it's a bit of legitimized trolling on Blizzard's part, and then at the very end, assuming you've done your job right, you get to turn into a Dreadlord and go and PvP people. You will not believe how much I fail in that regard. It's a little bit absurd and silly. So, yeah, I actually really like this event. I think it is really, it's quite innovative, quite fun. Definitely there's some parallels to what was going on. You can see here, I think I've managed to cause a little bit of a ruckus. I know there was one time where I nearly got a player killed, just by, switching them over and getting guards to attack them. But the first expansion pre-launch event that I was there for was Wrath of the Lich King. So we were all level 70 and people were being turned into zombies. You could turn other people into zombies. It was an extremely interesting and fun event. Is this one as cool as that? I don't think so, because it's not as sort of far-reaching in its scale, and this buff that I got, which turns me over to this Burning Legion thing, that can actually just be right-clicked and you can completely opt out of it, which is a little bit unfortunate. But what I love about this, and love about the one for Wrath of the Lich King, is it's actually doing something with the social dynamics of the player. So they're actually made a hunter run away and they're still being attacked by guards, which was quite a fun little thing to happen. So we're at the stage now where I'm fairly much burning through my stacks of Fragile Mind, and soon we'll see that I'll be able to turn into a Dreadlord and do some pretty crazy stuff. I'm just hopping around the place. Basically, the plan was, hide as much as I can, because especially if I attack a ranged player like a mage, they can just turn around and throw something at me. A hunter can just turn around and Chimera shot me. I guess if they're BM with that particular talent selected, but anyway, Yeah, so you've got to be a little bit careful about it. Now, if you do get yourself revealed and other players start to attack you, you can just hit 4. It's got the icon of Cloak of Shadows. I forget what its exact name is, but that will just turn you completely invisible, and you'll be absolutely fine. Here, I'm trying to hide in a tree. Lots of fun little shenanigans that you can do with this mechanic. Now, one rather strange thing is I did hop over to the wetlands on one of my characters, and actually one on all of the Legion Alpha servers that are currently available, and the stuff that was going on in the wetlands previously, where there were loads of Burning Legion NPCs, that's all disappeared. Now, does that mean that it's not a part of the launch event? I have no idea. What it could be is that those invasions of zones will happen dynamically, and therefore they won't just be there by default all the time. And indeed, if they do have a more dynamic element, then I think that's probably for the best, and that would, cluster players in a zone if the Burning Legion is attacking here and they'll be gone in like 2 hours. And it makes it a cool little event, right? So I would be quite disappointed if that sort of system didn't make it to the live game, but right now I think it is important to give them the benefit of the doubt because it's a perfectly plausible sort of explanation. Anyway, let's go be a Dreadlord. Actually, I lied. Let's not be a Dreadlord. Let's first do something far more interesting and be a target dummy. Yep, so that is what life is like from the perspective of a target dummy. It's kind of like you're just going around taunting everyone, waving your sword at them. So, anyway, I do that. I believe I select this hunter and try to kill them. Now, if you look at my action bar, you're going to notice something. Oh, wait, no, I did have execute. So, at the time, I for whatever reason, I could swear that I didn't have execute on my bar, and that pretty much led to me not killing this hunter. As it turns out, I did have execute on my bar, so I was even more of an idiot, I suppose. Yeah, Asmongold would be extremely disappointed, and rightly so, because, it's execute. You just hit it. That's how it works. Anyhow, I thought it would be pretty cool to turn into this big demon. Now, the way this works is you die after a minute, and the damage that people did to me was pretty much trivial. I had a really odd thing happen, though. While I was fighting people, this happened. I got the buff again from the Mysterious Whispers thing, which meant that I couldn't attack anyone. And I tried to, cast Hysteria on the floor, but essentially it bugged out a little bit and, had some problems. But as you could see, I was able to do so much damage to that hunter. It really was quite fun. Of course, I was going in as an arms warrior, so I could just Colossus smash, two mortal strikes and, do a big bit of burst damage. But anyway, then I died because you die after a minute. And if you want to keep on doing that, you can. So far, there's not a reward system surrounding it. And I think that's good. This should be just something that is there because it's a fun mechanic. It doesn't need a reward system because, we don't need to just slap a million reward systems in everything in the game. So that is pretty much that. I do have a fun little story for you. This video was supposed to be out tomorrow because that's when I read the news. But turned out I was busy being filmed for the BBC that evening. Yeah, a bit strange. Basically a competition that I'm entering with my company. They decided about 2 weeks before the competition, before we were going to be pitching for the first round, that it was going to be a reality TV show. Sort of. Semi-reality. It's not really a full-on reality TV thing. It's just sort of telling the story of a few companies trying to make stuff happen in Northern Ireland. But still, that's why this video is a little bit late, so sorry about that, but I'm glad that I was able to bring this little fun bit of news to you. I think this is an extremely cool mechanic. It's something, do you know what it is, right? It's one of those little systems things which impacts players' social interactions, and I think that's just such a powerful thing that you can only really do in a true MMORPG. You can't do it in Destiny, you can't do it in, a pseudo-MMO like that, or LoL or Dota, but something like this in World of Warcraft, you can do really cool stuff. You can emulate a zombie invasion of a planet, or something like that, through really good systems design, because it's a living world, right? And that's a really cool little bit of game design. And I hope that elements like this are something Blizzard include more in the game. Not necessarily this, where you could just troll people, and it's definitely a good thing that's not around forever. But even just some cues from it, because, it just struck me as being a particularly cool thing. Anyway, that's it for me. Very happy video indeed. Yeah, really, it's quite nice to, be able to talk about something and pretty much only have good stuff to say. So that's pretty much it for me. Let me know what you think about this system down in the YouTube comments. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you next time.